Yeah, nice to have these guys also here from Ultimate. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Shall we start?
yeah, let's kick it off. So yeah, my name is Henri Taulavuori and I work as an account executive for Salesforce, and I have been in the company a little bit more than 2 years now. And today I have in the stage with me Mika Mikkola from Ultimate. Could you tell us a bit about your role and how long have you been in Ultimate?
Yeah, absolutely. So nice to meet you all, and thank you, Henry. So my name is Mika Mikkola, and I've been working at Ultimate for about a year and a half so far. And I work as a customer success manager with our biggest enterprise clients here in Finland and abroad. And I joined the company as a junior customer success manager, and now if I can brag a little bit, I have had 2 promotions, and I'm really happy that I'm able to work with companies like abroad, and it's been quite a journey so far, but a little bit on that later.
Yeah, and how about you, Chris?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Chris Simmons. I am the head of revenue operations at Ultimate. And for those of you not familiar with revenue operations is basically the bridge between marketing, sales, customer success. So the way I like to think about it is that there are 4 components of revenue operations. So you have the strategic component, to where I'll be working with the sales leadership team, setting quotas, pipeline generation goals. We have the tech component, to where overseeing technologies for the go-to-market team, so Salesforce, marketing automation, a CS platform, third-party tools like Zendesk, Gong, Sales Navigator. You have the reporting component, to where we're interested in extracting interesting analytics across the go-to-market function. And then, of course, the operational component, to where we're overseeing processes and automation. So it's kind of no longer the days to where these teams are working very siloed and marketing is working completely independently from sales without any collaboration, generating leads without getting feedback from sales on the quality of leads, and where the sales team is asking, hey, marketing, where are all the good leads in my pipeline right now? To actually revenue operations coming in and bridging that gap and saying, hey, marketing, we know that our form submissions or our event leads generate the most pipeline. So if we have a pipeline gap, let's set a target for the quarter, and marketing will generate a certain amount of leads. I would then work with the sales team to enable them on the messaging, and then the sales team would ideally follow up with those leads. In a perfect world, they'll convert those leads into customers. Mika's team, the CS team, would pick up on those customers, ensure there's a smooth onboarding, that the customers remain happy, and therefore when they're happy, they'll renew and ideally expand their contracts with us. So in summary, revenue operations is kind of the bridge between marketing, sales, and CS through process automation, reporting, and technology.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting role, because you're kind of in the center of everything that you do with customers. And should we jump to the agenda part? So first of all, we'll introduce Ultimate as a company, because I'm assuming that not all of you might know Ultimate beforehand. And then we'll talk about the future of virtual agents. And lastly, we'll cover where does Salesforce fit into this picture. And we'll have at the end a Q&A session. So for example, for me, this is like a little bit of a nervous experience. And I guess that you might be nervous to ask questions from us. But hey, I'm here at the stage, so you can sit there comfortably and ask us the hard questions. So please do so at the end. Yeah, so Mika, could you tell us a bit what does Ultimate do?
Yes, absolutely. I can, and I can relate to the nervousness. I have never been on a stage before, so pardon my mumbling. But if you haven't met Ultimate before, so basically what we do is that we are a AI company to the core. And what we do with our AI is basically we automate customer service and customer support in various different channels. Like if your clients are asking questions in chat or in email, or they are sending you WhatsApp messages, we can automate, those conversations with the help of our AI. And we are actually Finnish-based company, so we are 5 to 6 years old, based in Tampere, and we have grown out of Finland quite enormously. So I'm one of the last warriors here in Finland, actually, and most of the people are already in Berlin or other parts of the world, in the US or in UK. And one more click, there we go. And we really work with some of the biggest, I guess, customer service organizations or clients that have really huge customer service organizations, meaning that it's high volume, like you get tens of thousands of questions in a monthly basis, and in some of the clients they may have even a weekly basis, tens of thousands customer queries. So what we do is that we try to automate parts of the conversation and really help our clients, human agents who then respond to their final questions, try to help their work by providing assistance with the AI there. And we really work across different industries. We have airline companies, we have financial companies, we have health tech. So across different industries and different companies. So it's been a journey, and 1.5 years for me so far.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those names, they are really huge ones and something to be proud of. But I'm assuming that it all didn't start out with these names from the day one. So could you, Mika, tell us a bit on the journey? Where did Ultimate start from? And I think there's a relation to Messukeskus also in the story. So that's why it's a very interesting one, considering that we are in Messukeskus now.
Yes, absolutely. So this is going to be maybe a little bit long story. I'll try to keep it short. So this is our CEO, Reetu, that you are seeing in the picture. So we have to go back in time a few years, back to 2016 actually. And the Reetu and the team, so the founders, I'm not one of the founders, just to make sure. So there was a hackathon actually organized by Messukeskus back in the day. And before I jump onto that story, I have to go back even a little bit further in the time. So Reetu and the team, so the founders, they actually had a different idea, before Ultimate. And they were pitching back in the day when Volt, Mikki Kuusi and Volt and their gang were launching their service and their idea for the first time in the biggest stage of Slush at that year. And then there was Reetu and the rest of the people trying to pitch actually similar idea what Volt had. So the company was called Kulinar, and it's still actually the name of our company here in Finland. So we have the the legacy from those times, but that failed, that idea failed, but it's fine that it failed because now we have Ultimate. And what I'm seeing from the failure, so to say, is that the team didn't give up, and we have the mentality still in the team that we can try and learn and iterate and keep on, I guess, growing. And from the failure and back to the Messukeskus, so as the team didn't have any idea because the first one kind of failed, then Messukeskus people called Reetu that, hey, we have this hackathon, would you like to come here, basically? And Reetu said, okay, yes, we can come. And there was a bit of an issue, whenever there is some big event happening here, like today, Messukeskus have to ramp up the customer service business unit, basically, and then wind it down when the event is over. So the question was, how can they make this more efficient and, I guess, cost efficient and make it easier for the whole Messukeskus organization? And that idea is what brought Ultimate. So the team thought that, okay, we want to build an AI supported customer service agent, basically. And you can see from the picture that the team ended up winning the hackathon and €3,000 check. So it's a bit of a, I guess, little side note here that where we are today. So it's the funding place where we started from.
Yeah, yeah. I think you have probably now a little bit more revenue than 3,000 euros. So it's a great story how you become from that point to the company that you are now today.
Yes, and so before we had the idea, and there was also the challenge that where we are today, of course, we didn't have any solution. The guys just had the idea. So Messukeskus agreed that, okay, this is a good idea, and we will give you some money, we will give you some time, please, can you build this solution for us? And that's the story of Ultimate AI. And the challenge was that there was like no AI or any kind of tool available in the market back in the day that could understand Finnish language. So when you process Finnish language from the AI point of view, it's quite hard. You know, you all speak Finnish, I imagine, so that it's a hard language. And Chris can
vouch for that.
Yeah, definitely. So the initial issue was that there was no solution like currently in the market. So basically, they searched the market, they searched open source kind of like places to look where we could use some already created ones, but simply there was nothing. So the team had to build it. And what we have today is the core what they built back in 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. So basically, an AI that is able to understand any kind of language once we train the AI with Finnish or Arabic language. And to finish on that thought, like after they had basically the AI built, we still had to make it a proper solution. And that's where kind of like Salesforce also comes in, that we were a small company and we needed to have like a platform where we could also use the solution. We didn't want to build our own like chat widget. So we wanted to integrate really deeply with Salesforce solution and Salesforce APIs and kind of like offer our solution to the clients who are already using Salesforce. And so we can, work on the same environment where the Salesforce clients are using their solutions. So we wanted to be there, and that took us, I guess, today, and some of the biggest clients that we still have today, and that took us also to Germany and kind of like where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think being part of the ecosystem, it opens up a lot of doors. So that's been a great kind of pathway for you also in the growth journey.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, should we actually talk a bit more on the chatbots? And as I can see in your pages, there's not a lot of mentionings of chatbots. You speak more of virtual agents. But what is actually the current state of chatbots before we move into the world of virtual agents?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was thinking about this before coming here, and what I see, like I've been at the company like a year and a half so far, and what I'm seeing is that the term chatbot is, in my opinion, what most people would know. And to me, that's kind of like already the old school kind of thought of here. So basically what I see that the chatbot is kind of more like FAQ style solution. So if I have a problem, I ask like, okay, I cannot use my email or my password is lost. So the chatbot recognizes this and gives me kind of like a text answer. So what I'm seeing is that we currently have these kind of chatbots, but what most of the companies are doing is that they are moving away from this kind of like simple FAQ style bot to a proper virtual agents, which are, in my opinion, part of the actual customer service organization in those companies. What it means is that the virtual agent is really able to help like even more deeply. So we are bringing in proper end-to-end automation. For example, like if I have a problem with my password, then the bot would not only just give me an answer like how I can reset it, but it would reset it for myself already. So it's kind of like process automation that I'm seeing that's happening currently. So we are moving away from simple chatbots to a full-fledged virtual agent that help really the actual human agents and automate actually the conversations.
Yeah, okay, and I think you covered a bit on the virtual agent side already, where it's moving, and could you tell us a bit more on actual like what it takes to like implement the solution? So
yeah, So I guess I can say a couple words like before we jump into the implementation of the actual solution. Then I think maybe the future part bits that is happening currently also like relating to the first question, like the stage of the virtual agent is that what I'm now seeing happening like in the future really is that the companies want to like really bring together all the different channels. Like if your clients are like contacting you via email, via chat, WhatsApp, or even like Facebook, so all of the different channels. So what I'm seeing is that the companies want to bring these to like proper omni-channel experience. So if you start a chat in WhatsApp, for example, you could continue the next day in the chat in your website. And I think Salesforce also is looking into this kind of solutions that we are able to bring all of the different channels and really like concentrate like the history of the chat conversations and the interactions that the company has had with this client previously. Because if we look what is a chat, basically it starts like from zero up, like always a new conversation. And if you look how WhatsApp works, you can see it's like a messaging style feature. So you can always see the history there. And I think like what's really happening in the future, like if we go from the current to the future, is that like all of the channels will be brought together under one roof and one solution to some extent. I don't know how it's going to work, but that's what I'm seeing in the field.
Yeah, and like you said, it's what we are also doing in Salesforce, bringing up all of the customer interactions and customer history and so on under like one roof. So yeah, we are on the same path, and I think our solutions complement each other quite well.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, now to the how to get started question.
Yes, absolutely. Super briefly on this. So what we really do is that when we have a new client joining the Ultimate AI solution family, so what we do is that we look at the historical data that this company have. So if it's email data or like chat data, so we bring the historical data to our side, and then what we do is that we basically benchmark this data against like our own like pre-existing AI models that we have built. And what we call this is an automation explorer. Basically, we are creating a benchmark model which is already able to give us an estimate like how much of these questions that your company is receiving that we could like start to automate and bring in like an AI solution like within 2 to 3 weeks time frame. So we have a 3-week onboarding basically, and our CS team, what I'm part of also, so we would be working quite closely together to bring in and launch the initial solution there. And after that, we start like improving the solution, like bringing in proper like integrations. For example, if you have an order management system and your clients are asking what is the status of my order, then we could simply check the order status and bring the information to the chatbot and maybe even take some actions if the client is saying that, okay, I want to cancel it or I want a refund, the bot could do it for the client in the chat. But this is like how we get started. So quick launch and then continue improving.
Yeah, perfect.
And you can read about it if you want.
Yeah, maybe we'll have just a short moment for the audience to scan the QR code. But I guess like all of the audience can also reach out to you and ask more questions later on.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Happy to help if there are any questions after the session today. So we have Chris here, and I guess someone else from our Ultimate AI team is here also present.
Yeah, perfect. But hey, to the question, like where does Salesforce actually fit into this picture? We are, of course, like complementing each other on the technology side, but you are on the starting phases of Salesforce project, and that also relates to the funding process that you are on, so Series A, Series B, and then Salesforce. Could you, Chris, tell us a bit more how these all these things relate to each other?
Sure. So in December 2020, we secured our Series A funding, and we were actually able to secure our Series A solely based on our amazing product, right? And now as we gear up to go to market for Series B, we know that what our investors are looking at is not just our amazing product, but they're also interested, or more interested even, in the rate at which our company is growing. Specifically, they're interested in our quarter-over-quarter annual recurring revenue growth, our reduced sales cycles, reducing churn, of course having enough pipeline also in the future quarters. And so the investors are really looking at what we're doing today, the decisions we make today, the investments we make today, that are going to set us up for future growth and accelerating that growth. And that's where Salesforce comes into play.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that are expected from you, from the investors. Is there any kind of roadblocks on the way to meet the expectations?
Fair question. I think the way to increase our growth rate wasn't always clear for us, and it wasn't a straight path forward. So of course we have this amazing product, and that has skyrocketed our business, no doubt. But we haven't been always using the right technologies and tools to maximize the efficiency for our sales teams or accelerate the growth. And we also didn't have a clear overview of our win rates or some of our other metrics, and so that made things very difficult. And so the idea going forward was to use a technology like Salesforce, the platform, to really help us inject a level of predictability into our model. And the idea is, if we're able to inject this predictability to accelerate our growth, then our investors will believe that we ourselves know what works, and we can actually forecast in the future, or what we predict will happen in the future, and that we're also ready to scale our business.
Yeah.
If I also can add on that, like from my experience that I've been here already a short while in the company, and I'm still struggling my day-to-day life at some point to understand like what exactly has been sold to what client, like what is the contract, what has been added there, and where can I find this information like currently. So it's a bit of a struggle. So I think one of the key things here is also to like get the processes like we have internally better, like as we have grown a lot as a startup from 50 people to 150 people since I joined, so tripled the headcount, and so I guess the processes has been lacking a little bit on that side.
Yeah, like a lot of growth, it's hard to keep up with the internal tools that you are using. And about that, also about the productivity, I think you can, Chris, elaborate more on how does Salesforce help you to kind of enhance the productivity between different teams?
Sure. So I think there's a few different areas that we're looking to really utilize Salesforce in terms of maximizing our efficiency. I think the first component is really our sales process. So revamping our sales process. It's not just like we switch to Salesforce and everything is great, but also redefining our sales process, having very clear stages, entry and exit criteria, and then utilizing Salesforce automations like validation rules and process automation to really automate the process and to help guide the managers along the sales process so that they don't have to make decisions or guess themselves, this predictability idea. And then I think the second component is really the integration to other tools and technologies. So for example, Zendesk for support, but also, as you were saying, having this lack of visibility into what was sold and how much of it, integrating our product, for example, also into Salesforce, so that we can really see how much of our product is being used and consumed by our customers, and use that as kind of alerts for the CSM team and the account management team to uncover upsell and upgrade opportunities. And I think the third, another component would also be forecasting. So we touched a little bit on that, this predictability, being able to predict what happens in the future. I can really see with forecasting, we'll be able to commit our book of business, or the reps will be able to commit their book of business on a rep level, but also on a manager level, on a team level, on a segment level, regional level. So we'll really have a full picture into what's happening now, but also predicted in the future. And the last component I would say that I'm really looking forward to is the CPQ and the quotes. So like a lot of tech SaaS companies, we have flexible pricing, and we need to work with the technology that really supports that. And so I think with the CPQ, it will allow us to work with our flexible pricing, but then also when it comes to quoting, we can create templates for our new deals or our upsell, upgrade deals or add-ons, and our sales team can quickly quote prospects reliably, accurately, send those quotes out, and obviously they'll get signed because we have an amazing product. But that's just this scalability feature. So it's really these 4 areas that I see really helping to improve and maximize the efficiency of our sales team.
Yeah, perfect. And about the predictability, I guess there's no head of revenue operations that would like to have an unpredictable business. So, yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, perfect. And thinking like now we are of course in the first phases of the Salesforce project, and we're focusing on the sales side and having the teams that work around the sales within the Salesforce ecosystem or the org that you have in place. And then there's the CPQ part. But what could you see on the future possibilities of Salesforce? What could be next, for example, for you in the journey with Salesforce?
So I think we would, first of all, love to deepen and grow our relationship with Salesforce, even as an ISV partner. We already have happy customers using our Salesforce integration today, Finnair, Icelandair, and Vodafone Iceland. And we're looking forward to many, many more. It feels like we're just now at the very beginning of this journey as a partner, and super energized to be on that trail with you guys. And I think from a technical standpoint, I mean, we have sales on Sales Cloud now, and also CS, but potentially expanding that also into the marketing realm. So getting the marketing team on Pardot could be a potential option to explore in the future.
Yeah. Sounds perfect. Yeah, I think that's basically it. But there's still time for questions, and I've been eager to hear your questions. So I hope you have come up with a couple of good ones. So is there any volunteers for questions, or should I just point out a person? Okay, there.
Can I ask from you, Chris?
Wait a minute. Here you
Yep.
go.
All right, thanks. Hey, can I ask you about the revenue operations? So you were talking about lead management or marketing and then sales and then CX. Does that go, the revenue operations for you guys, all the way to finance as well, where you talk about revenue recognition and general ledger and actually doing financial reporting that is acceptable as a document that can be given outside of the company?
Very good question, and it's a hot topic at Ultimate, to be fair, right now. So we will stop right at the moment that the order gets created and there's a contract. And I think we'll look into using like an ERP system, maybe something like NetSuite, to really handle all of the financials. So we'll stop right in the moment of the order and the contract. But it's a hot topic, and it's something we discussed a lot with the project.
Yeah, and
All right, thanks.
correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but I think you have Tableau also within the house for putting up the analytics to visible form.
That's correct. So that's our business intelligence tool, and also, that's where all of our company-wide reporting happens in Tableau. So, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Any other questions? Okay.
Hey folks, thank you very much for an interesting presentation. I'm just interested to hear from Ultimate, where do you see, customer service in the future? What you're doing, you're at the cutting edge in terms of artificial intelligence. What's your vision, or what's your belief of where customer service will be in 2 to 5 years?
I guess I can try to answer that as best as I can. What I'm thinking is that the customer service is really going to still be there as it is. It's not going to disappear anywhere. But what we do with like AI solution is that we, as I mentioned, like we do like proper like process automation. Like we really want to automate like whatever issue the client has, like automate it to the really end and make sure that the client is like happy with the service that they get from the automation side also. But that's like I think one part. And the second part that I want to, this is my opinion, I want to also focus is that the virtual agent is really helping the whole customer service organization. So even if it's not able to fully solve like some question, it can still help kind of like to dip deeper into the issue and maybe escalate it to the second stage, kind of like with all of the information already filled. So kind of like automatically doing some kind of troubleshooting even with the help of AI. So we have like the full end-to-end automation that's happening even today, but we are going to take it even to the like, how would I say, like to the next level. So we will have more use cases there, like what we don't even maybe cannot see currently, but that's what I'm feeling like, proper automation with the focus on customer experience, definitely.
And I guess it's the data that you're gathering that you'll be able to use to drive a lot of that.
Yes, most certainly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Awesome question, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So I guess we are out of time.
Yeah, a little bit out of overtime, but
There's one question.
Hello.
Hi.
Heikki from my side. Just because you're operating in a B2B sector in your own company, but I guess your customers are mostly B2C organizations. But have you had success in utilizing your own platform in your own customer cases?
Can you like repeat the last part?
So utilizing your own platform in your own customer service.
Okay, like using our own solution to automate our own customer service. Unfortunately, not yet. We just set up our own like customer service facing CRM, I guess, a year ago. So far it's been more like us customer success managers like helping with the day-to-day issues and problems. So we haven't really gone that route as of yet. So I guess it's the dilemma that if you are a shoemaker, you don't have your own shoes. So this is the case with us still.
yeah, sometimes it's even like that in Salesforce. So we are not like taking all of the pieces, but yeah.
Yeah,
It's a big organization for us, so yeah.
Definitely, and one of the reasons also is that, as you mentioned, that customers, many of our customers are B2C facing clients, so they have like a lot of volumes, huge volumes. So our volumes is still quite low when it comes to like receiving like support questions to our support services. So we would like to have a more, or we don't want to have support questions, but if we had more, we could start implementing the AI there.
Yeah, I guess we are a little bit over time, and I'm so happy that you stayed here for this whole presentation and a little bit over time also. And I have one mentioning about Palloliitto. So if you haven't been in their booth, they're running actually a campaign, and if you register there, you have the possibility to win tickets to some football games. So it would be nice to see Teemu Pukki score a goal or two there. So yeah, perfect. But hey, on that note, thanks for you both also joining the stage. And although we were a bit nervous, I think it went well, in my opinion, and yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Perfect.